We're going to be going live in three, two, one. The handsome liberal. We're going to be talking about the love of President Trump. Teflon Don, as some would like to call him. What we want to find out from the folks is why is it when you compare Trump to the likeness of President Biden, the love for Biden seems to disappear. Why is it that Biden does not have anywhere near the adoration, the forgiveness, for lack of a better term, than President Trump? Meaning that President Trump literally virtually anything, whereas Biden cannot. We're going to be going over some reasons I'm bringing it to you in this manner where we're talking about love and adoration for President Trump. So give me a minute, if you will, clean off the screen there. Okay, so what we're going to be asking is this. What is it about Trump that gives him survivability for a politician that is unrivaled by any other politician in probably our lifetime? In other words, when we say survivability, we mean the love and adoration for Trump is so strong that he can indeed do, say, and behave in manners that would destroy the political career of a mere mortal. What is it about Trump that makes that love, that bond to Trump so strong? We can compare it to Biden, perhaps to something about President Trump that makes that bond so strong that it is indeed unrivaled. I want to ask from you folks, what is it about the man that makes him so adored? Now, we will point out a few things. I've certainly off the dome came up with a few things that normally, when we say would destroy a mere mortal, we're talking about things like President Trump obviously being on video, or on tape rather, on audio tape, saying grab women by the you-know-what. We're talking about January 6th, speaking favorably of what happened there that day, a good day, we love you, go home. The claims that he won the election by a landslide that have not been proven by any stretch of the imagination. Tweets like when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Obviously, E. Jean Carroll being victorious in court, with the court's ruling that Trump did indeed violate her. Obviously, he has a host of felonies, a host of charges. Statements like my war heroes don't get captured in reference to John McCain. What we're asking is, how is it that Trump, the love for Trump is so strong that most of this stuff would have destroyed a mere mortal, yet Trump is continuing to survive. Not only survive, he's thriving, doing very well in most polls, continuing to look like he may indeed pull this off come November. We'll continue on, but we'll go straight to the box shortly. You know, obviously saying that Baltimore's a shithole, Milwaukee's a horrible city. These are cities that he would be in charge of. Obviously, the birther movement with Obama, banning the Muslim ban he tried to implement, suggesting that a judge cannot adjudicate his case because the judge simply is a Mexican. He mentioned suspending the Constitution, dictator on day one, giving the police immunity from prosecution, paying the legal fees of any supporter that would be willing to beat a protester. And last but not least, suggesting that the police feel free to bang the head of an arrestee up against the car. Those are just the ones I was able to think of right quick. How is it that Trump is indeed far more adored, far more liked, far more respected than any other politician that would likely be trashed if they had this much information coming out on them, if they were involved in this much controversy? What is it about Trump that the people love? Want to talk to you folks? As always, you know the program shall forever remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are always welcome. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So feel free to come on and state why the love for Trump is so strong without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you or limit your opinion. You know we don't do that here. It's all about free speech. Nevertheless, we will go to the comment section. And by the way, you don't have to agree with the host or anybody in the comment section. It's all about free speech. Trump has our respect because we know he is doing what he is doing for us, says Crack Pipes for Racial Equality. Fair enough. Fair enough. So going to the box straight out, what is it about Trump that Obama, Biden, Bush, no one else has the love that President Trump has? We're asking, why does he have the respect of so many supporters that virtually no other politician in our lifetime has ever had? Starting the program off with Murphy Magga. Can't resist that name. Good afternoon, Murphy Magga. Welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing good. A lot of respect and adoration for Trump. What say you?
I'm make America again, make America great again. I don't give a shit about Trump. These people like him like he's fucking Macho Man ready. Because I love me some Jake the Snake Robinson. And so it just reminds me of like wrestling and shit, buying belts and banners and going out and buying T-shirts that don't even match what the hell you are. You know, last time I went to a Trump rally, this lady had on N-word for Trump. Big old heavy set white lady. N-word for Trumps.
Wow.
They were selling them out there. Wasn't any N-words buying the damn shirts.
You're telling me you went to a Trump rally and they were actually selling T-shirts that said N-words for Trump?
Yes, sir. They sell all that type of stuff. Confederate flag, Camp Auschwitz shirts, all type. They are really crazy at those. But my wife, I go for my wife. I make sure she's seen.
Now, I went to a couple of Trump rallies myself, and I actually did, it was only a few African Americans there, but one brother was standing next to me in line. We had to wait like 5 hours to get in, and he showed me a picture that he had took at another rally, and he actually owned the N-words for Trump shirt, but it looked like it was something he wrote on there himself. You're saying that people were actually selling this?
Yeah, they've got the merchandise outside when you come into the rallies now. Well, most of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have their little merchandise where you can go out and sell whatever. I don't think this is Trump selling it either.
No, of course not. No, if Trump had anything to do with an N-words for Trump T-shirt, I'm assuming the N-words would be talking about it. So I don't think Trump had anything to do with that. But the fact that it's allowed at the gathering.
He loves pointing you guys out. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say. He loves pointing black people out at every damn rally I've been to.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. He pointed. Go ahead.
It's like he's playing fucking Where's Waldo every rally he goes to. He's moving the sun, blocking out his eyes so he can look for black people and pointing at them like, hey, buddy, you're here with me. And,
But I got to tell you something. When I saw Trump the other day at the hoagie shop after having a Pennsylvania rally or whatever and interacting with the crowd, that is something that people will cherish and never forget. When I went to a Trump rally, for instance, I was about 5 or 6 rows back. He stood up. I applauded something. Something he said made sense to me, and I did applaud it. I stood up with the rest of the crowd, and he pointed at me and winked. I don't forget that. I mean, so I do give him credit because Biden is not known for interacting with the crowd like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's kind of creepy, grown-ass man winking at me. You keep your winks. I'm okay with. I'm just not with the idolatry shit. I don't like fucking Biden, but at least those liberals don't be like putting his face on they. I just think it's weird. I'm in grocery stores and people got this going, and these are supposed to be alpha mega man. You know what I mean? Because I used to go to the rallies with them, and they used to be wearing their little cosplay shit. And I mean, it was pretty cool at first, but then when it just seems it's like you guys are just fucking. It's like Comic-Con. It's like that. It's not even a real, movement or ideology. It's like people playing dress up right now. Like people miss playing dress up.
Well, whatever the case may be, you got to admit it's a phenomena that Biden doesn't come close to having. There's a lot of folks that favor Trump, and as you heard me running off the laundry list, he said a lot of controversial things and his behaviors, but nevertheless, this man is like Teflon. Why do you think his support is unwavering? I don't think there's anything Trump can say that would waver his support from his supporters. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just the, like I was just saying, about the LGBTQ community. They identify as, and that's what Trump supporters doing. They get all dressed up and identify as Elena Hobbit. Identify as they think they're Elena Hobbit. You see them on this app. Fucking warehouse workers think they're lawyers.
Well,
they all think there's something. If you notice when you talk to them, they're not themselves. They're somebody else. They're like ultimate Trump friends and associates. Like they think they're his best fucking friend, and they're not.
I don't know if I get that, Murphy. I don't know if I get that. I generally get that they believe Trump has a better plan in store, a better direction for America than Biden. I don't know if I get that they think there's someone else.
No, sir. He doesn't have. If you listen to him, he goes out there, and again, I make America great again. I'm not about Trump because he just blows like opinions and assholes. We all got one, and I understand that he has a huge platform to push his opinions across. But we are adults. We got to be old enough to say that's bullshit, sir. Like to me, I'm waiting on one. Can we lock up one goddamn Democrat? Just one. Pinch him. Slap him on the back head. Something. God, they're dragging Republicans, all Trump associates, his cabinet, his administration. They're dragging them in court, locking. We got electorals getting locked up. And I'm not voting Republican. I don't have any confidence in my party right now. All the rhinos. How are we going to win with all the rhinos and all these people going to jail? And I just don't get it, you guys.
Now you lean right or left?
I'm voting red all down the ballot except for I'm leaving that presidency. I'm not checking that box.
So you're voting. So you are a Republican. You just don't favor Trump.
Yeah, I'm diehard Republican. I'm just not going out to this bumbling food. This is ridiculous. Like I said, if it was Macho Man Randy Savage, Sting, Jake the Snake Robinson, I'll be behind you guys. I'll have my banners with you, and we'll be putting people in the Fort Nelson together. But this is the president, people. We can't be doing this. This is starting to be a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, but this president gave you pro-life legislation, is giving you 3 Supreme Court justices, may give you 2 more. Is he not doing a good job for a Republican like yourself?
Yo, yeah, I give him that. He got the Supreme Court. Even though they did that dirty, they didn't get Obama his select. Yeah. They held that from him. We got to be fair. I'm a fair politician. I don't do that idolatry stuff. And wrong is wrong. And they held that from him, which is fine. And what they're trying to do right now is these old shits are trying to stay in and let Trump get elected to give him 2 more seats, probably 3 more.
Isn't that what you want as a Republican?
Hell no, I don't want that. That is then we don't have a government. It has to be checks and balances. The left have to check the right has to check the left. That's the whole concept. People need to freaking read now, people.
You know, I hear your point. I gotta say, Murphy Magga, you don't sound like a Republican, and I've come to know and love. You sound more like a moderate or a liberal in hiding. You don't sound Republican.
We were just, our side was just pissed off about election, right? And made it seem like the deep state and the supermajority stole it. And now we're saying like, yeah, it's so fucking okay for us to do the supermajority. It's not right. It's not right either way. A supermajority is going to be chaos on the other side, right? If Republicans just run everything, then the liberals going to be mad and it's going to be chaotic. And they got the right because now they have the supermajority and they're controlling people's rights. So if the liberals get the supermajority, do you want them controlling our rights? Hell no. Yeah. I don't want people controlling my rights. So again, it has to be, we have to do the checks and balances things. If we don't do that, then one side is just going to think they can do anything they want. And that's ridiculous. I don't give a shit if it's Trump, and I like the guy. I just think he's a bumbling idiot. He's not president material. Wow. But I like the guy. You know what I mean? Like,
so you almost sound like, based on our conversation here, you do fear the republic is at stake if Trump is reelected, or democracy. You sound like that's your biggest concern. You mentioned having it fair and having balance and things like that. That's the rules of the republic.
Yeah, but that's what I mean about Trump. Like, people they got so much idolatry with him that they not understand. Like, even though they say it every day, goddamn rhinos and the deep state and Democrats are super geniuses, and so Trump doesn't have any damn power when he got rhinos that don't like him in his own party. He's not going to be able to do anything when he has judges that he appointed that don't even want to hear his ass. Like, get your toupee out our damn courtroom. We don't want to hear that shit. And you appointed them. So we have to remember that there's so many people on our side or people will think that they, gonna follow him, whatever. They're not, people. We just saw it last election, okay? Like like I say,
who won the last election? Who won the last election?
I mean, people are gonna say all of the.
I'm asking you, who do you believe won the 2020 election?
Oh, Joe Biden won it. Okay. Joe Biden won it. I mean, Trump could have taken it easily if he would have just shut the hell up about COVID and ran with his warp speed. Because I was on Star Trek mode with him with that fucking warp speed. Like, yes, sir, let's do this shit. He had it. He had it in the goddamn bag. Then he opened his goddamn mouth at these rallies. Had everybody goddamn sick. I had to snatch my wife. You're not going to more of them damn rallies. Them sick ass people were falling over. You should have saw them. They were falling over everywhere. Trump didn't give a shit. He was sick as hell on top of the stage too. They didn't care.
I gotta say, Murphy Magga, I'm having a hard time believing you're a Republican. I see a lot of my audience is too. Now, did you vote for Trump at all in 2020? Did you vote for him?
Yeah, I voted for Trump. I didn't even vote for Obama. I'm a real Republican. You hear me? I'm red all the way down, up and down. I voted for Bush, his dad, everybody. I love Reagan economics. But I just don't like look, I used to watch that damn show. You're fired. Yeah. And I heard you say a lot. You say if he was running another business or another season, perfect. But in Congress, you can't go around just saying you're fired, you dumbass. That's not how it goes.
That is true.
It's checks and balances, and he didn't like the checking part. He wanted to balance every goddamn thing, but when somebody checked him, he didn't like that shit, just like right now. I tell everybody all the time, there's nothing stopping a Republican right now from charging goddamn Maxine.
Before I'm moving on from you, out of all of those 9 that was trying to primary Trump, from Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, did any of them suit your fancy? Would you been willing to vote for any of them?
My wife is a Nikki Haley fan, and I've been doing a little research on her, and she's pretty much just like Trump. Well, I can't even say she don't, because she be saying dumb shit sometimes. Still, it slips. It just slips in the Republican Party.
So any of those nine?
Probably it will be Christie. Or Christie, because I'm an old school Republican.
Yeah,
I'm an old school Republican. Because
he's really, Chris Christie is really run afoul of the Republican Party. But I got to move it on, Murphy Magga. This is the first time talking?
No, man, you talk all. No,
I don't think I've heard you talking like this. But I appreciate you coming on, man. I do got to move it on.
Always a pleasure.
Right, same. I don't know. What do you guys think? By way of yes or no in the comments. By way of yes or no in the comments. Was my last guest a Republican? I'm curious to see what you guys think. By way of yes or no in the comments. Was I just speaking with a Republican? Looking in the comments. Somebody said either a troll, either a troll or truly lost soul. Yes, he liked Reagan. Okay, says 40 FM. Always the same callers pushing lies. Sandra, I take many comments from you, Sandra. So folks might think the same of you. Always the same commentary. Looking in the comments. Laugh out loud. That ain't a Republican, says Jack. I've become somewhat knowledgeable at this. I've talked to thousands of callers. We've been doing this show for 3 years now. I generally have an ear for things that sound suspect. My last caller being a Republican. Okay, fair enough. Moving on. We're asking a question. Teflon Don, the love of President Trump. How is it that compared to Obama, Biden, the Bushes, you name it, he has the ability to say, behave, tweet, send out things that would destroy the political career of a mere mortal, yet he survives no matter what? What we're talking about is the love and adoration for Trump, and simply asking, how did he get the touch that nobody else has? What has created such an adoration and love for this guy? And, we can talk about the economy and things he did that many believe were better for America than, say, Biden or Obama. But this is a love unlike any other politician in any of our lifetime. I mentioned and being caught on tape, grabbing him by we talked about January 6th being a good day. He's talked about paying the legal fees of a supporter that beats up a protester. He's talked about judges can't be over his case because they're Mexican, the birther movement, Baltimore and Milwaukee being shitholes and horrible cities, respectively. My war heroes don't get captured. Dozens and dozens of felonious charges. E. Jean Carroll being found to be legitimate in the court of law that she was violent. I mean, just a host of things. He is surviving them all, I tell you. The polls still favor Trump. He has a survivability that Biden, Obama, George W. Bush could never dream of having. What is giving him that? That's what we're going to be talking about. Go straight to DJ Julio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Do you know why Democrats support abortion? Hunter Biden. Huh? I don't think Hunter Biden got anything to do with it. DJ Julio, good afternoon.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, hold on. I got music playing all of a sudden now. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
All right, good. So can you state your question again? I had some shit coming through.
Out of all of the things in Trump's past, and it's a laundry list of statements, tweets, behaviors, how is it that he has a level of survivability that no other politician could dream of?
Well, he stands on what he says, I think.
So if you stand on... So you're suggesting that if a politician stands on what they say, they can literally say anything without any type of recourse?
Well, I mean, there'll be recourse from the people that it pisses off, but I mean, if we're really going to be a country that gets shook up by statements of a man, and not respect his actions, I mean, I think that's what we are right now anyway. So, I mean,
well, you do realize some of this stuff you would normally believe goes against the American moral psyche. We're talking about things like telling your supporters if you beat the guy up, I'll pay your legal fees. As long as you stand on what you say, you're okay with that?
I mean, I don't know that he ever said beat him up, I'll pay your
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever been said.
What if you found that he did? Would that change your viewpoint?
No, because it would assuredly be something stupid because he would never say that.
Okay. Well, I can assure you he did. That's why I'm just simply saying, even though you don't know for sure.
Where did he say that, Tim?
He said it at a rally. Somebody was protesting Trump at a rally, and he stated, if you punch him, I'll even pay your legal fees.
Well, I guess I disagree with that, but I haven't heard it, so I've never heard that.
But it would, even like you said, even if you did hear it, it wouldn't make a difference anyway. No. Okay.
No, because somebody should be standing up for that man. Nobody else is.
Punching them in the face due to words that are covered by free speech?
Well, it depends on what he said. Is it disrespectful? I mean,
so if somebody says something that's disrespectful,
what happened to the Generation X that I knew that if you talk shit, you get hit? That's just how it goes.
So if somebody says something disrespectful, it's okay to punch in the face.
How else are they going to learn not to say something disrespectful? You can't say, don't say that, it hurts my feelings. They'll never change.
All right. My war heroes don't get captured. How did you take that one?
His war heroes didn't. That's a fact.
Say that again?
His war heroes never got caught. That's a fact.
So how do folks who may have served and did get captured, prisoners of war, POWs, or families of KIAs, how should they take that?
I mean, take it for what it is. It's true. It's true facts. People get so pissed off about true facts and would rather me sugarcoat and rather Trump sugarcoat shit so that it makes them feel better rather than tell the truth.
Okay.
Like literally, what happened to being able to tell the truth?
Well, does that not, if you are in the military and you have been a POW, does that indicate that you could never be his hero simply because you got captured by the opposing forces?
Absolutely not. You weren't his soldier at the time you got captured. That's just part of war. You sign up for it. His people never got caught.
Okay. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. What does that mean to you?
Yep. We've talked about that. I feel the same way. I got a fence around my yard. You start trying to come into my yard, breaking into my businesses, there's a chance you're going to catch one.
Okay. So if there's a Black Lives Matter riot, because that's what that is, a riot, and they're breaking into Best Buy, stealing TVs or whatever, you believe it's okay to shoot them, murder them?
Well, I mean, not everybody that gets shot dies.
But you do believe it is okay to use lethal force?
Yeah, you are allowed to do that in the United States of America against somebody that's trying to perpetrate against your property. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So on January 6th, anybody breaking into Nancy Pelosi's office, you would have been okay with lethal force?
If she would have protected herself because they're breaking into her place, absolutely. I'm not a fan of Pelosi, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to make sure.
I mean, even if she had her, her security detail with her, and her security detail had to drop somebody for it. I mean, you play stupid games, you get stupid rewards, and I'm tired of living in this America where we have to be so politically correct. We got to watch our damn words. We got to worry about everybody else's feelings. Nobody's accountable for their feelings. I have to be accountable for everybody else's, which is absolute fallacy.
Now, I don't disagree with you that we should have thicker skin, but do you really want everybody just going around saying whatever they want to say about everybody else right after you just stated if somebody says something disrespectful, it's okay to punch them in the face?
Now, I am. But see, you'll never hear me say something disrespectful enough to get punched in the face. If I say something that you deem as disrespectful, but it's an absolute fact, you don't have a right to be upset. If you did something wrong and I'm calling you out on it, guess what? That's that. Okay.
Sound like you're agreeing with Gabriel Reed. Thank you for the super chat. Gabriel Reed on YouTube said, "Run your mouth, get your ass whooped." Sounds like you kind of agree with that.
Well, I said talk shit, get hit. I mean, that's Generation X. I mean, it did. I am just tired of walking on eggshells, Tim, and it sucks that even on this platform I have to walk on eggshells because I'm sure somebody's already sent out a freaking report. I'm sure I'm going to have to take a 7-day ban. Good thing I'm going to take vacation.
You want to drop out now? We don't want you to get banned, man. I always enjoy talking to you.
No, and I appreciate that. But no, I mean, that's just what I'm worried about. It's like, I don't walk around my neighborhood, my city, my town disrespectfully. I don't go and talk crap to the white people because I got brown skin. I don't go and talk to the browner people because I've got lighter brown skin.
So if Trump says that a town is a shithole or a horrible city, do you say they get the right to punch him in the face because what he said is disrespectful to their town?
Is the town deplorable and shitty?
Every town in America can be viewed as deplorable or shitty depending on how you view it. No town is perfect. You can say that about every city in America.
Okay, so then it's a true statement. Why would you get hit for saying something true? That's not talking shit. That's saying the truth.
You don't see that. You don't see that as being disrespectful at all.
Do I think it's something that should be said all of the time? Do I think that anybody should be rightfully out there disrespecting people? Let me be clear. The answer to that is no. Okay. I don't think anybody has a right to be disrespectful. I don't think anybody that is saying fallacies about a town, fallacies about a person, or a government body. If it's false, keep your mouth shut. If it's true, it's not talking shit, Tim. It's telling the truth.
Speaking of talking and shit.
Not you yourself, but whoever.
Yeah, fine. Speaking of talking shit and telling the truth, let me ask you this. And by the way, Franklin McCrae, thank you for your support and the super chat on YouTube. Thank you. Real quick, Trump stating when he was dealing with the whole Trump University lawsuit, suggested that the judge could not oversee his case simply because the judge was a Mexican. Is that disrespectful?
What was the case again?
His Trump University. People were suing his him running this university, saying the whole thing was a scam. He ended up losing the case, by the way.
Oh, I guess I never heard about that, but maybe he felt like he wasn't going to be a fair judge. I don't know. So I can't really speak to that. I don't think that unless there's some good context behind it, there's a good reason behind it, that it should have been said. But if there's good context behind it, good for him for standing up.
What kind of context could be behind saying a judge can't oversee my case because he's Mexican? Let's speculate. Give me something that could make that sound like it makes sense in context.
Would there be a conflict of interest because he was Mexican?
Explain how.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of a moot question because I don't know the situation. I don't know the case.
But you're saying there may be a way where that actually makes sense and is not that bad? You're going to just basically say no Mexican can oversee a case against me?
If somebody's gender, political belief, or race is going to be a conflict of interest, it is the defendant's right to choose somebody who's not going to be a conflict of interest. That's just legal.
The entire nation, anybody from Mexico, instantly there's a conflict of interest?
If it has to do with anything that's race, Tim, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it was right for him to say it.
Yeah, you can actually say it was wrong for him to say it.
Well, not yet, because I don't know the situation. Like I said, if there was a reason that it was a conflict of interest,
okay,
then he might have that right to say it. He has that right as a defendant.
No chance that anybody from Mexico could be unbiased, huh?
Oh, it'd be like if I had a case going and it was against a Black American. I would feel better if I had a Mexican American judge or a white American judge. So if I was in a situation like that, I would be like, it is unfair for Tim to sit as my judge because this goes against, you guys are saying I went against Black America. I don't want a biased judge because there's a good chance that he's going to see past my defense and more about his color.
So do you see that as
that's what I'm trying to say.
Right, and do you see that as insulting to me at all? Because you're kind of coming up with a preconceived notion that because I'm Black, I cannot be unbiased. Is that not insulting to me? You don't even know me as the judge. You're saying simply because I was born with dark skin, I might treat you wrong without even knowing who I am.
Well, first off, I'm responsible for my case and my feelings, not yours. So
right.
That doesn't matter to me.
So when Trump says the guy can't be over his case because he's Muslim, or he's Mexican rather, is that not an insult to that judge?
No, it's a feeling. That judge gets to decide whether or not he wants to feel.
Yeah, but the feeling is, you as a judge, I don't believe you're capable of being unbiased, and you don't see that as an insult at all.
Maybe to him as a judge, but not to him as a person of color, by that matter.
Okay, fair enough. I got to move it on, Julio. Some of your answers, man.
Well, I mean, listen, you caught me on a day where it's hot as hell in South Dakota, and I've had a frustrated morning, and I'm really tired. I'm really tired of people freaking playing off their fucking feelings. I mean, 1999, we would not be having this conversation. Somebody would have got their ass whooped. We'd be done. President would be president, whoever it was, and we wouldn't be crying about everybody's fucking feelings.
Well, let me make it clear. In 1999, I don't think a president would have said half of the things that Trump said. I get what you're talking about. We need to be, thicker skinned. We can go back to the 1960s or 1970s. Nobody was talking like Trump does. I mean, he's taking it to a whole new level.
You're absolutely right. And I don't even think we need to take it back that far. We need to have thicker skin. People in general just need to realize that you yourself are responsible for your feelings and emotions. Nobody else. I can say everything I want to you, Tim. I could start calling you names. I could jump on board with these freaking punks in your chat, calling you freaking Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus, all of that shit. I could. I get it every day. You know what? And you have a choice, and you handle it well. You have a choice to allow that person to affect your feelings or not.
True. But at the same time, I'm not going to vote for somebody who calls me an Uncle Tom or Uncle Ruckus every day. I get your point about thicker skin, but Trump not only expects you to have thick skin, he expects you to ignore the insults and vote for him.
Well, yeah, and that's not going to work for him. Anybody who has common sense knows that.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing before you do let me go, because last week I tried to get back on because you had a great point going, and you guys were talking about kids here that are going to college on school visas getting green cards if they graduate from college.
That is something Trump is promising, yes.
Yep, and you know what makes that okay?
What?
Because he said, they're not sending our best and brightest. I'm sure some of them are good.
He did say
some
that.
are the ones he's talking about in college that have their visas. They're not here illegally. If they're going to school here, they have a school visa. You can't go to school in the United States illegally without documentation, without state documentation.
Is that true?
Anybody that comes to the United States for school, for work, or anything has to have a work visa.
Okay. Fair enough.
There's companies that hire illegals, but I don't think any school in America is going to take an illegal immigrant that just come over the border and sign them up to Harvard University.
Wasn't the Chinese city where I guess you're right, they were on documentation, because I know the Chinese send people over here to be educated, but they were on some kind of visa. Well said. DJ Julio, I do got to moving on. You know what we got to do. Appreciate you coming through.
Yep.
And I always moving the program on. That is what we're asking. By the way, real quick, 2 super chats. Gen Xer, fuck around and find out, friend of the show, says a punch in the face says in 1 second what 1,000,000 words can't say in 1 year. Kind of like the Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. I don't know, Gen Xer and other folks who may agree with that. My issue is we're kind of asking for a more violent society. I mean, like my last caller was saying, for instance, if somebody disrespects you, I'm from the Generation X, which I'm from too, the late 60s, early 70s, or whatever the case may be, early 80s. And if somebody says something disrespectful, we used to hit them in the face or whatever. Do we want that type of society where essentially free speech goes away, by the way? That goes against free speech. I mean, if somebody calls me the N-word, that's obviously very disrespectful, depending on how you judge it. Should I be allowed to legally hit them in the face? I mean, people say disrespectful things to other folks all the time. I don't know if I would encourage or condone violence based on speech. I just don't know if I would agree with that. Looking in the comments, what does that say? Moogly, these keyboard warriors, bet none of them can fight, says Moogly. Oh my God. I don't want to start violence, so let me take my hands off of that. We're talking about, before I go back to the box, understand, folks, the program is uncensored. So you're going to hear opinions from the guests that you may favor or you may think are totally out of left field. It's not about any one side getting all the praise or all the criticism. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. Everyone gets to speak. You don't have to you don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section. You don't have to agree with the damn host. I get folks criticizing me all the time. Super thick skin here, folks. That's how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. By the way, if you do favor this type of a forum, feel free to follow the program on TikTok, YouTube, a subscription if you will. Jagar, yeah! Thank you for the hat and mustache. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to about 35,000. We got almost 600 of you in here. Same on YouTube. Smash that like button. Some people are very backwards, but claim to have all facts. You contradict yourselves. I think we've all talked to people like that. Going back to the box, Top Dog, one of my subscribers, good afternoon. Obviously, subscribers get first digs. Top Dog, good afternoon.
What's going on, Handsome? How you doing?
Not too bad. I'm asking, what is it about Trump that he receives love and adoration that no other politician in our lifetime could rival?
It's simple. He was a superstar before he ran for president.
So
It was known.
yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I mean, simply,
and he was in the rap videos. He was in the movies. I mean, he was all over the place. So people had and he had a hit TV show.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they liked him as a person. So carrying over.
yeah, but even if you like somebody as a person, let's say you really, your children, your best friend, does that really give them a pass to say anything and you still down with them?
But it's just like Trump is just like any other celebrity. He got fans. And when you're a fan of somebody, you really don't see what they do is wrong, or you justify whatever they do. He just got a lot of fans. And if you're a loyal fan, it's like a Michael Jordan fan. Can't nobody tell Jordan what the best. If you're a real Jordan fan, so same with Trump. He's he got fans and they love him.
So you saying he got fans that are so loyal, there is zero accountability no matter what he says or does. They're not going to hold him accountable because they love him.
Well, I don't even have to say it. You can just look what's going on right now.
What do you mean?
That's what's going on. Everything is going on right now.
Top Dog, you got a really bad signal, man. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to move it on. Your signal's going in and out. You're totally illegible. I wanted to continue talking to you. Come on back anytime, but you were illegible. I ain't that loyal to anyone, says DO1 Nice. I'm the same. I mean, I used to even hold my mom, may she rest in peace, accountable for saying some shit that's out of pocket. I mean, it is what it is. I don't believe anybody should be able to say anything. And by the way, Pep says people do that with anyone they like, family, church members, etc. I don't know. I hear your point, but I mean, they can say anything, and you're just, I like you, so you're free to say whatever. No accountability. I don't know about that, but I could be wrong. We're asking that question before I go back to the box. And I see Raven said same here. Yeah, I don't know. I hold people accountable. I don't think you should just be to say any damn thing. We've all had. Let's say you have that friend. You guys been riding together, since kindergarten. You're hanging out in the bar, and that friend gets drunk and starts fights and shit like that. Do you just ride with him anyway, even though you know he is putting you in debt? No. In my opinion, at some point, you got to hold a person accountable. I don't care how tight we are. Wrong is wrong. If you're not willing to call it out, that's my humble opinion. I know a lot of you folks have a different opinion. The border is open for illegal immigrants to vote Democrat, says John. That's not accurate. There's no evidence to prove that. And by the way, there's no evidence to prove they're going to vote Democrat either. That's just an assumption. Maybe an illegal immigrant comes in the country and they prefer what the Republicans are offering. Sorry, but we see how left-wing media painted Trump the racist, but come to find out it was Biden that is the racist, says Itty Bitty. Well, and notice out of all of the things I brought up, I didn't even discuss anything being racist. I mean, I'm talking about giving police immunity and January 6th. I don't think any of that's got anything to do with the media painting him as a racist, but I understand what you're trying to say. Going back to the box, we'll try it again with Savage Rocco. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Talking about Teflon Donnie, undenied support and love for the man. What say you, Savage?
What's up, handsome?
How's it going, man? Not much at all. What is it about Trump that the man has love and support that no other politician could dream of?
Man, I'm just going to say the way that I feel, that I think why he's getting it. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm an immigrant Trump supporter, okay?
Wait, hold on. I'll let you continue before you do. And by the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes up to 40,000, smash that like button on YouTube in the top 3 dots in your screen there. Get the likes up to about 55. You can make that happen on YouTube. 40,000, that's all I'm asking on TikTok. Now, you said you are a immigrant. Am I correct, Savage?
Yes, sir. I also have an immigrant wife from a different country.
From where is your country of origin?
I'm from Puerto Rico and Cuba.
Well, Puerto Rico is not. I mean, I get your point, but
Cuba.
Okay, Cuba is different. Cuba, and your wife?
My wife is Ukrainian.
Oh, okay, wow. Okay, so you support Trump. I mean, now I do realize that Hispanic immigrants from Cuba and from Venezuela do tend to lean right because they're running from socialist dictators. So does that have anything to do with why you vote right?
Well, that has a little bit to do with why I'm voting right in the last 6 years. But before that, I voted Obama twice. I voted for Gore in 2001.
And you voted for Trump. You're going to vote for Trump all 3 times?
Yes, sir. Okay. 100%.
What is it about Trump you favor?
Well, you have to see. There's a certain consistency with Trump, and that's what I see. I'm a person that I judge the character very harshly, and I don't approve with everything he says, but just like you allow everyone here without censoring to say and feel and say what they really are thinking,
right.
That's the way we have to see the America we live in. And that's the America that I grew up in, like the previous gentleman was talking about the 90s, right? In the 90s, yeah, you don't have the right to really get punched in the face, to punch somebody in the face, but you have to know that that's a possibility. And you have to know that if you say something that's out of control and disrespectful, that could happen to you. Yeah. And if it happens to you, that other person might go to jail for doing it. He might get arrested for assault, but you still had the risk of that running to you. So we have to weigh things. When we say things, we have to know what we're saying, and the not only say what you feel, but also understand the repercussions of what you said.
Well, so but that's what we're talking. That's what we're talking about. Trump says what he feels. Is there any repercussions for what he's doing? He speaks what's ever on his mind. As you talk about, people need to have thick skin because he'll insult the hell out of you. Is he facing any repercussions?
Yes, the repercussions is what's happening right now with the trials and with the people that do hate him, that will never vote for him, right? The people that have the right to say, I don't want that man in power, right?
So in other words, you're saying... Right. So in other words, you are admitting then that a lot of what Trump is dealing with is things he brought on himself because of what he's saying.
I mean, everybody, anyone.
We're talking about Trump. We're talking about Trump, though. We're not talking about everybody.
Right. No, I'm just kidding. So with him in particular, anyone who says the things that he says, right, is going to be judged equally. So even if Obama said something like that, or Biden said something that is that, which he has said things that are very, very controversial, they see the heat for it, and they deal with it, legally or whatever, way it comes to them. But the biggest thing to answer your first question.
Wait, hold on. I don't know if you quite answered the one I just asked. You brought in Obama and you started using words like everyone. The question was, in other words, is Trump responsible for some of the heat that's coming at him?
I mean, he said it, right? So yeah, if you say words, you're responsible for your words.
Okay, all right, fair
absolutely. But
why does he act so shocked?
Right?
Why does he act so shocked? If you're admitting that he is taking heat from things that he is doing, why is he acting so shocked? Why does Magga often act so shocked that everybody dislikes the guy and they're coming at him? If you're admitting a lot of it is his fault.
I mean, yeah, but I am admitting it. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the right to still run for president. Doesn't mean that he's going to lose his following of people that believe he did good for 4 years. I mean, I'm sure even you can admit, and I've heard you admit, that he did have some good things that he put in place.
Oh, yeah.
When he was in right? So if we can follow that, right? Okay. This man has been saying the same exact thing since the 70s, back when he was in Oprah, right? Now, he was a little bit better, well-spoken back then.
He was running as a Democrat back then. He was saying, I identify as a Democrat. He was in favor of gun bans back then.
Okay, right. And people are allowed to change, right?
You said, wait, hold on. You just said this man has been saying the same thing since now you're talking about people being allowed to change. Fact is, he ain't saying the same thing he was saying 30, 40 years ago.
But he is. But he is a majority. He is. If you go back to the clips that he had when he was doing interviews, and he wasn't a politician then, right? He was just a public figure, right? When he was doing these, and they asked him, hey, if you ran for president, what would you do? He said, I'm going to make sure that all these other countries are paying us the money that they owe us. Yeah. And those are the things that he ran on, and those are the things he tried to do and got success out of. I think major policies.
Yeah, Savage.
I mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I think you're hearing from him what you want to hear. You're saying he's saying the same things, but you're ignoring the fact that he was pro-choice. He wasn't Christian. He said he's never asked God for forgiveness. He identified as a Democrat. He actually stated the economy is better when Democrats are in control of the country. I think you're hearing his consistency because you're ignoring all the inconsistent stuff.
Okay, but he's right in what he's saying, right? Like the best economy we ever had was under Clinton, right? So the best country we ever had when we were in a surplus and all these things were under a Democrat president, right? So he's right in these things by saying that. So that doesn't discredit his words. If anything, that gives him credit to his
gun
words.
ban? You think he was right about the gun ban?
That that Democrats and Republicans can both do good things if they got the right of the people in mind.
He was talking about people don't need high-capacity magazines. People don't need AR-15s. Was he right about that? He did say it.
I don't think he's right. He was right about that. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he says.
All right.
I said that at the beginning. So I don't think I've been a gun owner for the last 12 years. Before that, I lived in New York City. So I really was one of those people that believed guns were bad. You cannot have a gun. And then I realized I moved to Texas, obviously, and then I realized the respect and the amount of responsibility that people who own guns have, and how they carry themselves, and how they actually take it to, like, I went through 3 different licenses in 3 different states for guns, and one of them was New York State, and it's one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Like, legit, it's such a pain to have the right to defend yourself and your family and your business. And I'm a business owner, so that's why most of the reasons why I got the gun originally. Now I have multiple different types of pew-pews. I don't want to say the word to get you flagged or anything, but that's the responsibility we take. Like, we really take it to heart. The people that want those,
you really see that in legal. You really see all that responsibility in legal gun owners, where they're, they take it.
And most of the people that I've met and known and came across, business and personal, yes, 100%.
Okay.
All the people I've been to, I was a part of a gun club for a while in Texas, and they were all very responsible with their guns. Let
me just say this. Almost all of the mass shootings we have that become very popular in the news were perpetrated by legal gun owners. They were a legal, law-abiding gun owner right up till they walked up and started shooting people. They own the gun legal. So when you talk about responsibility, all of the what do you call it? Road rage, where people pull out fire. By the way, the primary supplier of bad guys with a gun, it comes from good guys. They're either finding them, stealing them, or buying them from good law-abiding gun owners. That's where all the criminals are mainly getting their weapons from. It's not where they're being surplused or smuggled in the country. They're not printing the guns. The overwhelming majority of guns found in the hands of bad guys came from a law-abiding gun owner. Law-abiding gun owners are the chief supplier of guns on the street. That's why you often hear folks say, if you ban guns, they'll find a gun on the street. They never tell you where the street got those guns. Go ahead.
Well, 2 things on that, right? I don't think that anybody who sells their gun and doesn't fill the proper paperwork to make sure that it goes to the proper channel to know that gun is no longer registered in that person's name, and it goes into the name of the other person, right? And I'm saying this because I have done that, and you do have to register. There's a form you have to fill out. There's a lot of things, at least in certain states. I don't know about every state.
You ever heard of shall not be infringed? A lot of folks want to get rid of all of that oversight and regulation.
I mean, I don't believe in that. I'm a gun owner that believes there should be regulation, right? I don't think that anyone should just walk into any gun store and buy a gun without proper documentation, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's what I mean, that a responsible gun owner is the difference between that and the person that's not, right? And another thing to what you said, if you are right, which I'm not sure, maybe you are, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because I do respect what you say a lot, right? I'll believe that what you said is correct, that most of the crimes are coming from gun registered owners or whatever it was you said, right?
Well, let me explain it just in case other people didn't understand. If you look at the guns that are taken off the street by the police from criminals, any gun is taken out of the hand of a criminal. If you can trace that gun back to its original origin, somebody owned it legally. That's where most guns come from. They don't broke in somebody's house that is a legal gun owner, found somebody that's a legal gun owner willing to sell it. I knew people in Chicago that would send somebody to Indiana and buy guns like that all the time at gun shows. And then the last one is a lot of gun owners lose guns, move from a house and leave it in the attic, forgot it was there. They're either finding, stealing, or buying their guns from legal gun owners. That's where criminals get them from.
I would say whoever left their gun in the attic is not a responsible gun owner, because a gun should not just be in the attic just laying there.
I'm just telling you.
If you're a responsible gun owner, you got to have a safe. You go 100%, especially if you have children in your house, because children get temper tantrums, and a lot of these shootings and stuff happen with the young people who get temper tantrums. And yes, I would say those were irresponsible gun owners that allowed that to happen, because you should know where your gun is at all times.
But once again, the right side of the aisle don't want any law requiring people to have a safe. They want to leave responsibility up to the honor system. And we know a lot of people ain't honorable.
This is where I disagree with that part, because I'm not 100% right. You know, I lived in New York for 18 years. I'm a very progressive person. I believe that we need both conservatism, because without conservatism, you can't have tradition without being conservative, and you can't have progression without having innovation and having new ideas and bringing things to the table, right? You got to have both sides of the aisle. We got to stop this left and right bullshit. Like, everyone needs to understand that we have a lot more in common as Americans than we do have in differences. Right. And if everyone can understand that we can talk to each other without arguing, without picking sides of, oh my God, you voted for Obama? Oh my God, I can't talk to you. It makes no sense.
But I do have to move it on, but let me just say this before I let you go. You said we need to get to a point where we can talk without arguing. As long as you're willing to tell people they should have thick skin and let people say whatever they want about them, you're never going to get that wish. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you without arguing. When you're saying you should be able to insult me and say anything you want. If you want peaceful conversation, you got to also ask that the insults go away.
But that's not true, because just arguing doesn't mean that it's a unpeaceful conversation. You can argue passionately about something.
No, I didn't say arguing. I said insults. I didn't say arguing. I said insults. Blatant, flat out insults.
So with the insult, then that's where we decide, okay, I could step away from this conversation. Right. And I'm going to tell you respectfully, hey, you're insulting me, so this is not going to be productive, because we're just going to end up insulting more and more, and I'm going to walk that way, and then you go your way, I go my way, we agree to disagree.
And at the end of the day, we didn't accomplish a damn thing, like you just said. Right. We need to talk to each other without arguing. If all of the conversations result in, well, I can't continue talking and you go that way, then we're not talking to each other. So as long as the insults continue, nothing gets accomplished.
Okay, but how often does that happen? Like, you're a prime example of this, Handsome. Like, you are a person that allows that discord, and we, through a form of platform like social media, can see that it's possible. So if we can do it through such big platforms like Facebook, TikTok, social media, then why can't we do it in person? Why can't we stand in front of somebody, have a beer, and say, hey, you know what, I understand, or have a drink if you're not an alcohol drinker or whatever. Just understand each other's points. I sit with people all day long. I'm in sales. I have multiple businesses, and I talk to every people on every type of the aisle, and we talk politics. But it's all about how you go about it. If you're in it just to argue, you're gonna end up arguing. But if you're in it to learn something and to maybe progress the conversation forward, then we can get to know each other. And okay, you know what? Yeah, that was bad, but you know what? This was good. And then you can.
So wait a minute. So like we mentioned something that Trump said. When Trump said judge cannot adjudicate his case because the judge is Mexican. What should the Mexican judge do with that?
Nothing. It's his opinion to say that. The same way that a black person could go to, or a Hispanic person could say, hey, I did not get a fair trial because that guy was white and I don't think I got a fair trial. He has the right to say the same thing.
Is it insulting?
Maybe to the person, but
would you continue having a conversation with somebody who believes you're unbiased simply because you come from Cuba?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure, listen, we need to understand that the reason why some people might say things like that is because of a bad experience. And if we can understand that bad experience...
You're gonna discard the whole country because of a bad experience?
No, not the whole country. But if you have a bad experience that put you in that thing, then perhaps we could talk about that bad experience and try to overcome that by saying, hey, well, listen, not all people of that descent are going to be like that. We can have a conversation. And yes, that's something Trump needs to do.
Yeah, Savage, I got to move it on, but I think what you're talking about, the man is like almost 80 years old. If he hasn't learned to the point where you got to talk to him like that, he's never going to learn. I'll give you the last word real quick.
Okay, one last thing I'll say. We have only two choices at the moment, right? That's it. because that's how they want it. We only want us to get two choices. You have to make the choice that's best for you as a person and your family and your loved ones. The rest of it, we cannot allow to get so deep into our feelings that we can overlook what's happening in our country when it comes to the cost of living, when it comes to people in poverty, when it comes to all the big issues that actually matter, homelessness and all these other issues. So why are we fighting over a word that he said that, oh, I don't want to get a fair trial because this guy's Mexican? People do that all the time with every other race and every other color. So let's focus about the topics that we really care about in America that are really going to hurt us, right?
All right.
Can people eat tonight? Can people have a shelter tonight? Those are the things that matter.
All right.
And I think we're not focusing on those.
All right, Savage. Appreciate you coming on. Come on back anytime, man. Good talk.
Hey, thank you for adding me, man. Thank you for letting me up.
Anytime. I will say this. What he stated is quite a common response. Pay attention to the economy and things that really matter. In my humble opinion, and many of you may agree, some may disagree. We're all about free speech here. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes. Should be around 50,000 by now. So a lot of lazy thumbs in the forum. Show the program some love. Tapping the screen doesn't cost you anything. Show the program some love. Help support the program. Helps out the algorithm. Brings in more Magga, by the way. But tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 50,000. Same on YouTube. We can do 80. We can certainly get the likes up to about 80 if you show the program some love as well. Uncensored broadcast here. Uncensored programming. Monday through Friday. 1 p.m. Central, 1300 hours is where you'll find us. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So if you enjoy civilized dialogue without any censorship coming from the host, follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Real quick before I go back to the box, he talked about you should vote for the things that matter. In my humble opinion, different things matter to different people. I mean, just like he left Cuba and admitted fleeing, socialist dictators like Castro was part of why. Maybe somebody else fled racism. So if you're talking about, well, this person can't adjudicate my case because they're a Mexican, which doesn't make Mexicans look good at all, maybe that's important to them. Understand what is important to you as a voter, as a constituent, is not necessarily important to somebody else. Telling somebody you should focus on what's important to me and vote for that ain't how it works. I mean, for instance, I mentioned earlier that Trump promised to give police immunity from prosecution. Maybe there's a voter out there that was mistreated by the police, had a hard time getting justice. That may be important to them. That might be more important than $2 gas. Everybody has something different that they're voting for. So ignore what's coming out of Trump's mouth and vote for what's important to you. Maybe the stuff coming out of his mouth is what's important to some voters. Going back to the box, Trump wants to give law enforcement absolute immunity, turning law enforcement into mercenaries. Damn, Timothy. I don't know if law enforcement would become mercenaries. Wow. But he did promise to give police immunity from prosecution, stating that they need their power and respect back. You don't talk about Biden. Why is that? We talked about Biden yesterday, the day before. We do talk about it. And I saw Sandra on YouTube asking, why don't we talk about Hunter Biden? I mean, Hunter Biden's not a politician. Show me some solid, concrete evidence that his dad is involved in criminal activity. Talk about it all day long. Right now, it's just allegations. So, I mean, Hunter Biden is not a politician. Going back to the box, and I will appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. We'll keep it going with Coach Briggs. Good afternoon, Coach. Welcome to the program. We don't care what Hunter does, and I think that's kind of really what's going on. I mean, Hunter Biden is irrelevant. Coach Briggs, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We're asking that question. Trump has an undying love and adoration that is unrivaled by any other politician in our lifetime. Why is that? What say you?
Well, my first response would be coming off of Obama. It gave Trump winning gave some of the, I'll say it nice way, some of the disenfranchised people the right to speak out and say some things that they really felt like they could say.
So he looked out. Wait, you're saying that
Trump with their mouth like he is.
Yeah, but you're saying that Trump looked out for the disenfranchised. As a politician, is that not a good thing?
It depends on what disenfranchised you're talking about.
I need you to elaborate.
Like, for example, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, and these guys actually think that Trump is an advocate for them. They don't even realize that they're just a vessel that Trump uses. But to them, it gave them the opportunity to just come out and say whatever they wanted to say.
Well, let me ask you, because I got a few.
I'm not even saying, and first of all, I don't want people going off on me about Trump, saying Trump is a racist. I'm not saying Trump is a racist at all.
Then what are you saying?
I said Trump takes care of Trump.
Okay. Because I got a few, I'll tell you this, Coach Briggs, I have a few viewers that are Proud Boys and Oath Keepers on the program. Some may be watching now. What are you saying about these groups? Because you're saying that, all of a sudden that he gave them some type of avenue. What are you saying about the groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers?
I think for at least for the 8 years of Obama, it seemed like they were silenced. Even with as far back as George W. and H.W., I think they felt more like now we have a platform to come out and say whatever we want to say, because Trump has this bombastic personality and he'll cater to whoever helps him.
But think about what you're saying.
They were a big part of him. When we talk about rural America, I grew up in Virginia. I was born in '68. We're not far removed. I went to school, and I was in high school in '82,
okay.
'83.
Okay.
And in parts of Virginia, the N-word was still dropped. So we're not far removed from that. And
so, plenty of people are saying the N-word right now. It's mostly blacks saying it to each other, but the N-word ain't died out.
Yeah, handsome. If I'm 55 years old, getting ready to be 56.
Okay.
I ain't talking about the N-word, how these kids you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the hard R. I get it, coming from other races.
So
I get what you're saying.
We're not far removed from that. And if you go back prior to Trump, how much did you hear about the Oath Keepers? How much did you hear about the Proud Boys?
That's a good question. I don't recall. I know about 3%ers. I didn't hear a lot. I do admit I have heard more of these groups, but is that because they're doing more, or is it because people are demonizing Trump and trying to tie him to it? And by the way, hold on, Gen Xer on YouTube, thank you for the super chat, said that is BS. We Proud Boys are not that foolish. So Gen X, being a Proud Boy himself, is disagreeing with you. But like, for instance, the Proud Boys. Do you believe?
Who is he playing? Hold on, I got a comment for this guy. Who is he playing? Who is Trump playing? You think Trump backed you, yet you see the pictures with him and Al Sharpton. You see him in the pictures with the black athletes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yet you champion him as Make America Great Again. So who is Trump other than the narcissist that he is?
Well, we've had 4 years of Trump in office, Coach Briggs, and many believe that what Trump has done for the country was significantly better than Biden. They're voting for Trump because they want 2016 to 2020 back. They believe that Biden's time in office has been awful.
So now here you go. You know who you're talking to. You know who I voted for in 2016, right?
No, I do not.
Man, you had this conversation
before. You realize how many people I talk to every damn week?
So I voted for Donald Trump in 2016.
All right.
And I told you, as my good friend American Lumberjack that I talked with.
I know a lumberjack quite well. Yes.
His policies absolutely benefited me. So if you are anybody who Trump's policies benefit you, I'm perfectly and I agree. I'm excited for what you think his policy helps you, and if that's how you vote, that's how you vote.
What about yourself?
If you're somebody that tells me that Trump is like God to you, you're an idiot.
I understand it. Yeah, no man.
If you're somebody that actually lives on the system and every policy, not just the system, if every policy Trump wants to get rid of is something that you need, yet you still have your undying love for Trump, you're an idiot.
So you voted for Trump in 2016 over Hillary Clinton. Did you vote for him in 2020 against Biden?
Did I vote for him in 2020?
Yeah.
Yes.
Will you be voting for? Hold on, hang on. Will you be voting for him in November?
Right now, I'm probably not. And let me. I'm gonna tell you why. At the beginning, I was still, because I know his policy would help me. Some of the I'm talking about some of the deregulations and stuff. I'm a landowner and things like that. Okay. So I think some of the deregulations and stuff would help me. The problem is twofold. I don't think that Trump will be focused enough on policy this time. I think that it will be a revenge tour. But be it justified or not, I think he'll be more so on.
I'm hearing Sanford, son.
Yeah, that's my ringtone.
Yeah, I heard that. Keep going.
I think he'd be more so on a revenge tour than focusing on policy. That's the first thing.
Let me interrupt you. In regards to your suggesting that Trump would be on a revenge tour, you said whether or not, he deserves the right to do it. Do you believe people are wrongfully going after the guy? I mean, he got 88 charges. Do you believe they're all witch hunts?
I don't think. You gotta take them. You gotta take each one.
Give me one of them that you think is a witch hunt.
I think the Stormy Daniels is a witch hunt.
Well, give me another.
I think the timing is a witch hunt. I mean, this could have been brought before, way before, and it could be brought after.
What about Jay? Let me ask you this.
Now it's a convenient time.
I think a lot of people agree with you, even on the left, about the whole Alvin Bragg, Stormy Daniels case. What about January 6th, though? Do you think he's responsible for that at all?
I think his rhetoric played a big part in that. But once again, that's to me the idiosyncrasy of some of these people. You can call anything lesser than that a riot. But
let me get clarity. Let me get clarity. Okay, let me get clarity, because the whole purpose of January 6th was to stop Biden from stealing the election. Stop the steal. Do you believe Trump won the 2020 election?
Absolutely not. So
it's more than rhetoric. In other words, you're saying January 6th, according to you, was based on a complete lie.
Well, I don't think Trump won. I think it should have been a proper turnover.
Do you agree with what I just said, though? If you believe that Trump lost the election in January 6th, the whole purpose of that was to stop what he stated was Biden stealing the election from him. You believe January 6th, the whole protest, was based on a lie.
Yes.
Okay. People, you do realize people died from that, right?
Yeah, I do. But the thing and we can blame. That's why I say rhetoric. We can blame Trump for stoking the fire.
No, he didn't stoke it. It's like Billy Joe. He created it. You just mentioned the whole purpose of January 6th If Trump lost the election, was fabricated out of thin air. There is no still.
So handsome. This leads to my second point. We all heard what Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, we all heard what all of those guys said about Trump prior to Trump being elected. We heard what all of those guys said after the January 6th happened. And they're all coming back to roost. The Republican Party has been taken over and is lost. I think this is my point for now. I think we worry too much about Joe Biden or Donald Trump when the real problem is down ballot.
I don't know if I can agree with that, Coach. I mean, you just admitted we had a president in office holding a protest saying that he won an election where you're admitting he didn't do it. No other president in U.S. history has done something like that. Where you holding a protest at the Capitol building, according to you, is based on a complete fabrication.
Hold on, handsome liberal. That's why we have a Congress.
That ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. Congress is not Congress. Congress has nothing to do with you, a president just making some stuff up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Handsome, if you go outside and you say the sky is green, and you get 15 people of authority to agree with you, when they obviously know that it's not, that's a little that helps prop up your argument.
Yeah.
You have a House and you have Mitch McConnell and those guys in the Senate. You have Lindsey Graham stand their ground, and he can't take control of the Republican Party. They don't. When Trump said he wanted to clean the swamp, you know what he did? He enhanced the swamp. Yeah. He's using the swamp.
Wow. All right. I got to move it on, Coach Briggs. Interesting dialogue. We obviously don't agree on everything. Nobody gives a damn about that. Come on back anytime, man.
All right, buddy.
Good talk. Moving the program on. By the way, I want to read a couple comments I saw. He called Pelosi and asked her to get back law help for January. Wait a minute. He called Pelosi and asked her to get back up law help for January 6th. The law assorted them and discouraged them. Trump didn't have anything to do with it. It was shown on TV that the 2020 election was stolen. It was not. It was shown on television? What channel did you watch? It was not shown on television that the 2020 election was stolen. Hey, where did you get that one from? Okay. And by the way, I always bring up, I'll go back to the box real quick. In regards to the notion that Nancy Pelosi was supposed to provide the National Guard. First of all, I always say that the January 6th Hearings Committee determined that is not true. But I know a lot of folks are not going to entertain what a January 6th Hearings Committee that was, ran by Nancy Pelosi and the likes of Liz Cheney, they're going to disagree with that anyway. Fair enough. I say this all the time. And by the way, tap the screen. Get those likes up to about 70,000. We always enjoy you folks showing the program a little bit of participation. So tap the screen, get the likes up to about 70,000. Almost 700 of you still riding. Same on YouTube. Get the likes on up to probably almost. You guys can probably make 100 happen. We're damn close on YouTube. Follow the program. If you enjoy Uncivilized Dialogue, same with a subscription on YouTube. The point I was going to make, let's say, for instance, it was Nancy Pelosi's job to provide the National Guard on January 6th. Now, as I said, the committee determined it was not her job, but let's say it was her job. I bring this up all the time. You got Flynn, Don Jr., Steve Bannon, Rudolph Giuliani, and then Trump, and a host of others making speeches. You're talking 3-4 hours of speeches. They all knew the National Guard was not there that day. So let's say Nancy Pelosi just completely effed up. She didn't do her job, and they're giving these speeches knowing Nancy Pelosi did not provide proper security. Why would you send an unsecured crowd to the Capitol building? How does he not get some level of accountability for that? Even if Nancy Pelosi is wrong for not providing security, all of Trump speakers, including Trump himself, knew that security was not present. They knew it. And yet they told these folks to go to the Capitol building anyway. He gets no accountability for that. It's just, well, Nancy Pelosi didn't do it. Let's just send him to the Capitol building anyway. He's the president of the country. And we have all of the heads of state, minus him, in one building. He knows that crowd has not been searched, not been patted down. Nobody knows who was in that crowd. Could be Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the FBI, ISIS. You don't know who's in that crowd. Nobody has secured that crowd at all. And he directs that crowd to go to the Capitol building, knowing that there is no security present. He gets a total pass on that? That's what I'm saying. How can he get it? You can blame Nancy Pelosi if you want to say she did not provide security. But he knew that security was not there when he sent them to the Capitol building. Security that he himself claims he requested because he thought it was necessary. Okay, so if the crowd's not secure, why would you send them to the Capitol building? Total pass. Anyhow, look at it in the comments. I'm so excited for Trump's upcoming indictments. That son of a bitch is done. He's a flight felon. I don't think Trump is done. Biden 2024 second term. I'm not sure Trump is done. I think most analysts believe that most of the cases Trump is facing, despite the numerous indictments, none of that stuff will come to a head before November. So he's not done. And if he becomes president, that stuff goes away. It is what it is. I mean, you can believe what you want, but if Trump becomes president, certainly all the federal shit goes away. The White Smith or whatever, he won't even have a job. Merrick Garland won't have a job. It goes away. So the notion that he's done is insane. Let me go back to the box. And not to mention the judge in Miami is clearly in his back pocket. So you'll never hear from that case again. Because that judge is in his back pocket, and that's one of the biggest cases. Moving on with the program. So many North Korean loving trolls here. We got folks from North Korea in the box. Speaking perfect English, shout out to you North Koreans. You know when leftists do shady crap, they can't be trusted. Nobody can be trusted when they're doing shady crap. But he says, you know when leftists do shady crap, they can't be trusted. Then you are surprised when nobody trusts the Democrats. There are enough videos online of folks with cars full of ballots. Let me just say this. I'll go right back to the box, but this is more stuff that's in line with 2000 Mules. You see a picture on television, as you say, cars full of ballots. Prove to me those ballots are favoring Democrats. You're just assuming that. Everything that we believe that the Democrats did to cheat in the 2020 election is loaded with assumptions. You give me the thing that you believe happened, and I'll tell you where the assumption comes in. Going back to the box, Jamie Mercado, I think that says, make America great, period. Too many stains on the past. Fair enough. Jamie, good evening or good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing real good. We're talking about Trump having a unrivaled amount of love and adoration that no other politician has ever had. What is the draw? What makes him so adored?
Well, I'm gonna tell you my opinion. This is my opinion. I was born in 1958, so I'm a little bit older than you.
Fair enough. Yeah, you got me by a couple days. Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll be 66 in July.
Very nice. So the man's got more love probably than any politician even in your lifetime. What is the draw?
I've seen many presidents. I witnessed a lot of presidents. You know, some of these young folks. You know, young Gen X. They only seen one or two, but I've seen quite a few of them, and I've been through a few of them. And I don't know why people keep coming back. Things go better under Trump. You know that as well as I know that when the new president takes takes over, inaugurated on January 21st or 19, whatever it is, he is still riding in 18 months of the previous.
Okay.
So really, when Trump passed a tax in 2017, that didn't kick in 2018. But 2018, between 2018 and 2019, that's when you start seeing Trump policies going into effect. Am I correct?
It's debatable, but keep going.
Okay. Now, I get sick and tired of people saying, well, 4 years ago, things were beautiful and we were doing well.
Not in the middle of a pandemic, it wasn't.
That's right. And they keep bringing that back. 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Well, 4 years ago, I had camp folks dropping like flies.
Yeah.
You know?
How do you view Trump's handling of the pandemic?
Miserable.
Wow. I've had viewers on the program say the man did the best he could with a novel situation.
Well, Hanson, you got to look at what Obama put in place because of the H1N1 and the SARE.
Trump threw that out. Trump threw that playbook out.
And I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. If a man passed a playbook for you and has a system set up to keep the country safe and the world safe, you know, why will you let your ego, you know, and the hate for the man that you just succeeded, you know?
You think that's what it was? You think Trump has genuine hatred towards Obama?
Yes, he is. He was mad because if you remember one time they had a dinner.
The correspondence dinner. Yes, I am. He roasted Trump.
He was embarrassed. He was embarrassed by Obama.
Do you really think Trump is that petty? Because we talk about when Trump says things, people need to have thick skin, fuck your feelings, don't get in your emotions. Do you think Trump himself is a snowflake where Obama said something about him and he held on to it for years?
We'll put it this way. I've been watching the man and studying the man. You know, and like scripture says, you know, also Martin Luther King said, you judge the person by the character. See, Trump is a person that keeps grudges. You know, he doesn't know how to take people and say, okay, you know what, you got one on me, okay, fine, I'm gonna move on, but I'm gonna show you I'm better. He is not that type of person.
So you're saying that even though Trump is in Magga in particular are telling folks they should get out of their feelings, you're saying Trump is the biggest emotional person there is?
Yeah, he is. Wow. Yeah, he is. That's the reason why he can't take any criticism. You notice every time he takes anybody criticize him, he always come out lashing out, lashing out at the person. Yeah. Instead of being a better man.
Wow. And I would agree that Trump doesn't have thick skin himself. A lot of folks, I get them every day on the program, you need to have thicker skin. Let's go back to the Archie Bunker days when people could say whatever they want. And I would agree with you, Jamie, that Trump himself does not have thick skin. I mean, I don't care if you're a high schooler in the middle of Colorado. If you say something about Trump and it goes viral, he will attack you back.
Yeah, he doesn't know. You know, he had a bad demeanor. You know, like I was saying. You know, I don't judge people's soul or people's spirit, but I judge their character, how they behave, how they carry themselves. You you got to be a man.
But how do you respond to folks like Q Macery in the comments says, well, look at all the things he goes through. People say, well, they never gave him a chance from day one. Do you think maybe that's leading to him having a, backlash because people have treated him unfairly and constantly tried to upset or ruin his presidency?
Handsome, that you know as well as I know that most of Trump's problem is the way he was raised. You know, your character leads you through life.
What do you mean, the way he was raised?
The way he was raised. He was raised to be exactly what he is.
Really?
No respect for anyone, no empathy for anyone. take no responsibility for any actions. That's the way he was raised.
Now you're African American, right, Jamie?
Huh?
Are you a black man? I don't see your picture.
No. Well, handsome. I don't know what I am because I got.
What are you, Tiger
my
Woods?
grandfather is African, Puerto Rican. Then I got my other grandfather by my mama's side, which is he's a Spaniard. Then both of my grandmother are Titianos Indians. So you tell me what I am.
I don't hear any European in there, so your ass is black. Let me just ask you that. let me just, in America, in particular, in America, your ass is black as hell. You got more than one drop of black blood in you. But let me ask you this. Trump states that he's done more for African Americans, which you don't, you got some of that in there somewhere. More for African Americans than any president since Abraham Lincoln. What say you?
What I gotta say about that? Action speaks louder than words.
Okay.
I don't see any actions. All I saw was words. You know, they got that old saying, you know, action speaks louder than words, you know. And that's the problem with him. He always boasting, but everything that he boasts about never happened.
Well, according to Trump and his supporters, when you say action speaks louder than words, what they would like is for folks to stop focusing on the tweets and his words and on his policies. They believe his actions should dictate you voting for him again.
Well, you know, greatness comes with the person itself. You know, you don't have to boast. You don't have to be in the spotlight all the time to be great.
True, that is true.
You know, you if you have good intention for the people and you love the people, you will bring the people together. You don't separate the people. So to me, what he's doing is separating the people to see if he could get the majority of the people so he can have his way. You got to be the president for everybody.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. We'll end it on that, Jamie. President for everybody. I actually kind of like that. Appreciate you coming through, man. My door's always open. Come back anytime.
All right. Thank you for letting me express my opinion, you know, and say what I had to say because, you know, like I said, you know, people, you know, it's like, you know, when you make a movie in the beach to make memories of good times that you have, that's a memory that you have.
I like that.
You know.
All right.
So you got to look at Trump of what movies he made and how he behaved in those movies, and how he conduct himself in those movies, and how he been living all this, doing what he been doing, and that's what you judge.
All right. Appreciate you coming through. Many would say though, because he said, look at Trump like it's a movie or whatever the case may be, but many would say that. The years 2017 from January when Trump got sworn in, those 4 years were a 5-star movie. 4 stars if you ask Roger Ebert, Siskel and Ebert for you guys who are old enough to remember the combo. But yeah, many folks believe that the movie Trump was directing was a much better movie for America than what we have now. So I get his point, but a lot of folks favor Trump. Looking in the comments, Trump has always thought he is better than anyone else. Says none of yours 81. That's true. I mean, Trump has a significant amount of confidence, but I don't know. A lot of Americans like confident people. Certainly women like a confident man better than somebody who lacks confidence. Maybe his confidence is to a fault, absorbently high. We could discuss that, but yeah, he definitely is a man full of confidence. But as I stated, a lot of MAGA like the fact that he comes across as, you know, powerful, comes across as confident. A lot of people like that. Looking in the comments, I guarantee every other president has been self-absorbed. Melissa Ray, I agree with you, but it's just not to the level of Trump. Every president, I would agree with you, has narcissistic traits. I mean, you don't get to that level without a little bit of that being in you. I'm not disagreeing, but Trump probably takes narcissism to a whole new avenue. I don't think it's the same. The current administration kowtows to China and is bought by China, so no biological bombs necessary. When Trump wins 2024 if it isn't fixed again with illegal immigrants votes, watch out for China. There's a lot in there, Regina. And shout out to another one of my female Magga. I always give a shout out to female Magga because everybody said the liberals are going to pull the women's vote. So I always give a shout out to the female Republicans. But a lot of that in there is accusatory and speculative. Certainly saying that if it isn't fixed again. I say this all the time, one single word, evidence. As of now, there is no solid evidence that the Democrats fixed the election. There is just a heap of evidence of things that look suspicious or didn't look right. There is no solid evidence that the Democrats were behind it and actively fixed the election. Dead people voting, polling places being shut off, windows being closed. They wouldn't let you stand 6 feet away. They made you stand 25 feet back. We can talk about suspicion. That's not evidence. None of that is actual solid evidence that the Democrats were cheating. All of that, I fell asleep, I woke up, Biden's in front, and he was not in front when I went to bed. That's not evidence. That's all. You can't go with a bunch of suspicious things. Where is the actual evidence? There is none. Jimmy Carter was smart and good, but a terrible president, says the Taylor squad. I don't think Carter goes down in history as a great president. I don't know if I'd say terrible, but he didn't go down in history as a good president. Going back to the box, keeping it moving. I don't know what I'm looking at there, but we'll go to Adam Weisler. Good afternoon, Adam. Talking about the adoration for Trump being unrivaled by any other president in our lifetime. Adam, good afternoon. You got an echo.
Yes, sir. How are you?
You got an echo. Are you on Bluetooth?
All right, hold on.
Are you on Bluetooth?
How about now?
Okay, I think we're making it work. Okay. No, we're not. You still got an echo. No, we're not. You still got an echo.
Is that better?
No.
Oh.
Are you on Wi-Fi
or? Probably just in a bad area.
No, bad area usually breaks up. I'm hearing myself.
I'm in a bad area probably.
Okay, all right, I'll drop you then. If you're breaking up now, you definitely are in a bad area. All right, wanted to hear from Adam, but yeah, apparently he was in a bad area. Continuing on, we'll try it again with Camden, I think that says. Good afternoon, Camden. Welcome to the program. Camden, good afternoon.
Welcome, handsome. It's the first time I listened to you quite a bit, wow. But first time asking to join.
Appreciate it.
And
what made this time different?
Well, I didn't have enough followers at the time. I don't know, but I just like to listen sometimes and hear what other people's viewpoints are. And there are times that I do when watching your show, watching your podcast, see that you try to be very neutral and making a safe space for everybody to speak. But I think that sometimes we just have to really push back on misinformation, on either side, if you want to say that.
We do. I just talked about the election, and we do push back sometimes when it's outrageous. Yeah. I mean, the fact is, what Trump is claiming that he won the 2020 election by a landslide, there is no evidence to that. We push back on that all the time.
The previous gentleman you had about the 4 years of a previous administration coming in, I would almost lay some truth to that, because sometimes the good comes with the bad. Now, when Obama came in, he had to repair, some of the things that happened from the Bush administration.
Okay.
Through various things he had to do. So, in order to catch up with his policies did run into the Trump administration.
That is true. I believe that.
And what I have a problem with Trump individuals is that you either you accept the man for what he does, but you also criticize him for what he didn't do. And the way that, for some odd reason, to believe the fact that we lost millions of people during the COVID, and that this man knew, but because of his ego, didn't want bad news going on against him or what have you, I will say to that, there's no excuse. And this is where I have a problem with MAGA's delusion of the strong man. The strong man also takes responsibility when they do wrong.
I don't disagree with that. So why do you think, if you're saying that Trump doesn't take responsibility when he does wrong, and by the way, folks, tap the screen. We should be around 90,000, over 700. We can certainly do that. Tap the screen. If you're saying that Trump doesn't take responsibility, why do you think Magga continues to show him nothing but love?
Because there's a part of the human nature that just always likes a bully.
Really? They
Yes.
like the bullying in Trump.
They like the bully in him.
Wow.
Because at a certain point, when you continue to make excuses for him, you almost start to take your personality in yourself that, hey, I'm already dug 6 feet into this ditch. I can't get out of this ditch now when I'm only 5 foot tall, so I might as well keep on, going to where I'm going to go at. And I think that part of it has always been historical. If you're going way back, when even the poorest white men came over from Italy, from Ireland, and stuff like that, they still felt a little bit better than the richest black man because the government made them feel that way. Politicians made them feel that way. Mm-hmm. Even though Irish were in the same slums as in areas of South Jersey, where I'm from Philadelphia and things of this nature, they still felt as though that they were a little bit better, even though they probably made 1/4 more than the black man. So I think that human nature politicians prey on that ability to manipulate people to make them feel so good about themselves. But
what about the fact that people believe under Trump, the country was being ran flat out much better?
Again, I go back to the issue at hand. Give me what policy did Trump actually do to make things happen? Because he had the House, he had the Senate,
right?
So what policies did the House or the Senate do to raise a livable wage? What did the House or Senate?
That wasn't their focus.
No, it wasn't their focus. Their focus was on giving taxes to the upper one class.
Yeah.
Where's the pro-life individuals who still to this day are taking away lunches out of schools?
Let me ask you this. This is a little bit off topic, but certainly on to some degree as well, because you talked about calling out misinformation. I mentioned the election and things like that. Big K in the comments on YouTube. The program is simultaneously ran on both platforms. Big K on YouTube says, if Trump loses, January 6th will be child's play. In your opinion, what does that mean to you?
What that means to me is the fact that January 6th was a horrible mark on America in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. I'm 52 years old. I myself that believes the fact that it was.
Now wait. You said it's a horrible mark on America.
Yeah, let me try to ask you. So you're asking me if he loses again, are they going to come out and do what they did before?
He just says it'll be child's play what happened on January 6th. So in other words, something.
You know what? I fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So if the government's not prepared this time to take out, as they say, give somebody else some more booster shots, as another host has said.
Booster shots.
Yes, I'm being TikTok friendly.
You want to get the protesters some booster shots. I like it. I've never heard it. That's a hell of a way to state it.
Another host talks about that booster shot. I think the Overlord says about that.
So in other words, Ashley Babbitt got vaccinated.
He was being TikTok friendly, What I'm saying to you is that I saw how the way
God.
DOJ, the whole federal government was pulled out for the summer for the BLM riots, BLM protests in Washington D.C. They had troops on the Lincoln Memorial. You remember that time, right?
I do remember. I do recall.
Okay, so for me, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, but for you to have to mobilize that type of force for just a peaceful protest and able to have Trump have a photo op and bring out horses, and then for some odd reason everybody was on vacation doing the certification of it. It just to me
just doesn't make it make sense.
Yeah,
I
obviously Trump treated the rioters from Black Lives Matter totally different than the ones that were rioting. And I want to point this out. I'll let you continue, but Ronnie Bella, some comments that are kind of humorous says that on January 6th she was baptized. So, oh my God, go ahead.
You know what, Hansel, you have a lot of MAGA followers. Can you ask them just one question? I would like for them to just answer one question for me. If Donald Trump could have mobilized the type of force for BLM protests, why couldn't he do the same thing? Why was it Nancy Pelosi's fault on January 6th?
Well, the jurisdiction in the District of Columbia, he's suggesting that the president has no authorization to mobilize a force in D.C. I don't buy it because of what the January 6th Hearings Committee said, but some folks believe it was Nancy Pelosi's job and Trump couldn't provide the National Guard even if he wanted to.
Again, let's talk about misinformation. If he had the power to mobilize the individuals, the DOJ, I believe he even had the Federal Bureau of Prisons out there. If he was able, and along with his Attorney General, were able to mobilize that type of force that could have people on the Lincoln Memorial, how all of a sudden he didn't have that same authority when it came January 6th?
It's a good question. I have no counter to that. I do got to move it on, Camden, but it's a real good question, and I don't have any counter to it.
Thank you for letting me up. I'll continue to listen to you and things like that. And can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
Just one more thing real quick. China. Trump owns businesses over China and pay more taxes to China than he did to the United States. So please stop this China and Biden thing. Please stop it. That's all I'm asking for MAGA to stop doing it.
All right.
Thank you, and educate themselves.
Fair enough. Appreciate you coming through, Camden. Trump offered 10,000 National Guard to Pelosi, and she said no, says scratching lottery ticket. Well, like I said earlier in the broadcast, if Trump wanted the National Guard there and Nancy Pelosi failed to provide security, then your event is unsecured. You don't send the people to the Capitol building. You already know the security you requested has either been denied or she didn't follow through. You know these people are not secured. Why would you send them to the Capitol building? At some point, Trump becomes responsible as well. I mean, we can talk about Nancy Pelosi all we want, but the people in the Capitol building have a right to ask the question, well, Mr. President, you knew she didn't do her job. Why would you send these people over here? You knew the security wasn't there. That's on him. It's on her that she didn't provide security. But it is on him to realize it is not there and take evasive action. You don't just get to blame her for everything. I know that's the goal, but you got 3, 4, 5 speakers that spoke before Trump, and then I think Trump spoke for about 90 minutes. You guys know the security you requested is not present. You don't move the crowd to the Capitol building. Why would you move the crowd? You think you're Eric B. and Rakim? You don't send them to the Capitol building. That's a screw up on Trump's part. Looking in the comments, though, MAGA don't want to hear the truth. Well, to me, it should make perfect sense. You know this is an unsecured crowd. You know you wanted it to be secure. Why would you then move them to another location where they can do even more damage than where they're at now? It makes no sense. Looking in the comments, you can show MAGA the truth and they still believe the BS. I'm going to leave it like this. It's the Republican Party that's keeping us from sea exploration and allowing the Chinese to dominate us even more. You'd have to elaborate on that one. Thank you folks that are tapping the screen. We might be able to accomplish 100,000 if you continue letting your thumbs not be lazy. Gregory, yeah! Appreciate the support of the program. Thank you very much. Let me go back to the box. As always, my subscribers do get first digs, and we will go to one. Miss Mo Betta talking about Trump and the love and adoration being unparalleled by anybody. Miss Mo Betta, a lot of folks love that man. What say you?
Like one of your previous guests just said, people like that bully mentality. It gives them the sense of empowerment. Like, okay, he give me this battery. He can get up there and say whatever he wants to say. Like, he was speaking, the stuff that was coming out of his mouth was unprofessional. First of all, you told, get that son of a bitch off the field, and stuff like that. Professionals don't speak that way. And Donald Trump is so far from unprofessional. It's just it's uncanny. You know what I mean?
Some folks are going to say maybe it's time we have a real individual in the White House as opposed to some polished professional speaking in a manner that most of us don't. A lot of people want somebody that just sounds, as he said, like a typical New Yorker.
We tried it, and look the mess we in now. And they talk about China. That Magga has sitting behind you. Guess what the tag says? Made in China.
I did verify that.
Made in China. See, what makes the division is the hypocrisy of the MAGA cult. They're such hypocrites because, like you said, we hold our peoples accountable. Biden said, whoever Biden or anybody on our side say something, we're gonna call you out on it. So there's no accountability when it comes to him.
But why is that? That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Mobet. I agree with you. Biden says, vote for me, you ain't black, and even the black community holds him accountable. Why is it that Trump can say whatever and there seems to be no accountability? Was the direction he was leading America in so great that there should be no accountability for anything he says and does simply because he was a really, really, really good president?
That what that does? It shows us how big a number it is for people that actually act like him. Wow. So they've been walking around with masks on this whole time, pretending to be a certain way. And like I put in the comments before, Trump is their battery. He gave them that open gate, like, oh, he can get up there and act like a fool, so can I.
So you believe Trump? You believe Trump has emboldened the assholes?
Pretty much, he's the king of them. He's the king of them. No, for really though. So you listen. They just did the poll. They did a research on. He told 30,573 lies in his presidency. You could Google that.
What about Biden?
That's a lot of lying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I'd love to see what some of those lies are. I mean, because some folks would say that some of the things that Trump says that people believe were a lie was a joke or was taken out of context. I hear that a lot.
But those lies that he told cost people their lives. That cost people their lives, whether it's their livelihood or somebody has been unalive with those lies that he's told. Yeah, people tell little white lies, so to speak, but he's told major lies, like the election was stolen. Yeah. Prove it. You sent these people down there. Yeah, he gonna say go in peace, but that's after you said we gonna go down there and fight like hell. They already had it in their head what they were gonna do. So it probably didn't matter at that point who they had out there. National Guard, FBI, DOJ. It didn't matter who they had there. These people had it in their head. We gonna go down here, storm this Capitol, and like that was gonna take the election back, dummies. Like that was gonna change the way of the election.
Actually,
so it makes sense.
Well, let me tell you, it does actually make sense. What you're saying is very humorous, but keep in mind, when they went to the Capitol building, storming the halls of the Capitol building, everybody that covers second place, third place, you go all the way down. Trump was in first place. He was the president of the United States. Everybody from the vice president to all of the Senate, all of the Congress were in this one building. So you say they were storming the building like he's going to do something. If they had stormed that building and indeed taken out the Senate, taken out Congress, it would have been left up to Trump to replace a lot of people. I mean,
I like that perspective. No, I do. I like that perspective that you put it, because that's true. Because now you're left with nobody else to work with, so he has to appoint people.
It would have it would have literally elevated Trump to a Superman status.
Yeah, kinda, kinda, and I think that was his intention. That was his.
You think
intention.
he really wanted that to happen? You think he really wanted the Senate and Congress to be taken out?
He didn't care how it happened. As long as it happened in his favor.
Wow.
He didn't care what happened. Listen, I'm sure he didn't want or people to be unalived. I'm not gonna go that far to say that. However, the damage and stuff that was caused, and as long as they were hollering Trump and seen on flags and stuff, he didn't care what happened. He just wanted to make this statement, make this bold statement that the election was stolen. He'd been singing that song. He's still singing it.
Yeah,
almost 4 years later, he's still singing that song. If he was a man about things, he would have conceded. And then let me prove to y'all what happened. Let me show you the evidence. Look at all of the stuff that were coming out. Oh, you have a whole list of pedophiles that are going to be arrested, and you have all kinds of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So most of the stuff comes out of his mouth. He knows that his followers are going to believe it, whether it's the truth or not.
But why is that? Because if Biden says a bunch of lies, the liberals are not going to accept them all as truth. Even Obama is not. People are not going to blindly accept anything he says. You're saying that no matter what Trump says, lies or not, MAGA is going to automatically believe him. Why is that? Why is he getting this special treatment that doesn't exist with any other politician?
That is the $1 million question, Tim. That is really the $1 million question, because I would like to know that too. I would like for a MAGA to get up here without having to put blame on Biden. Tell us why you really support this man, because they keep saying policies and different. Everybody that get on here talk about a policy, I bet you your paycheck is the same that it was 4 years ago.
Wow.
Because a lot of that stuff has to do with the companies that you work for. It has nothing to do with the government. So I wish they would kind of knock that off. Or come truthful about these things. So half of these people get up here and be lying their ass off.
All right, Ms. Mobetta. All right, I got to move it on. You drive a hard bargain. I appreciate it. Good talk. And I want to respond to a super chat coming from the one and only Gen X, always supporting the program. Gen X says, he's referring to the siege of the Capitol building on January 6th, and he says, taking them out with what? Furry hats and flagpoles. In other words, how could you have taken out the Senate and taken out Congress on January 6th? All they had is flagpoles and furry hats. Well, I'll take it from two aspects. First of all, you're talking about a sheer overwhelming amount of force. So, I mean, you can be beaten to death, by the way. You don't need if a bunch of fists and feet get their hands on your head, you can be taken out that way. You can always break apart furniture and beat the hell out of people with that. If you see when Ashley Babbitt got taken out, there was a whole bunch of chairs and desks turned over blocking the door that she was shot through. You can break all that stuff apart and make weapons out of it. But in regards to flagpoles and all of this stuff and how they could take them out, understand nobody had been patted down or searched. A lot of folks believe it can't be an insurrection because nobody was armed there that day. There's no way to know that. There was no metal detectors being used out there. Nobody got patted down. Nobody was searched. The only way we can suggest there was no weapons out there, well, I didn't see any, as if everybody showing up would have open carried. But at the end of the day, none of them folks that went to the Capitol building had been patted down or searched. Otherwise, the people that did show up with bear spray would not have been able to get through. You saw folks on camera using bear spray. You can't bring that where the president is at. I mean, he had a big ass can, like damn near the size of this cup I'm holding. You can't bring that to a presidential gathering. So clearly, no one had been patted down or searched. People wearing backpacks, khakis with pockets all over the damn place. There's just simply no way to be sure that there were no weapons in there. And if you're talking about the Senate and Congress, you don't need a lot of weapons. You're only talking about a few hundred people. I mean, it certainly could have been done. It certainly could have been done. Looking in the comments, they killed a Capitol officer with bear spray. No, that didn't happen. But the fact is, if you can get in with bear spray, there's no guarantee you can get. There's no guarantee that other people were not armed. Pocket knives and knives, and I mean, there's no way. You don't know that. Nobody knows that. That just is something to, I suppose, help downplay what took place. I mean, are we to believe that nobody in that crowd had a knife or anything on them? Everybody was unarmed. They just all knew to do that on their own. Looking in the comments, he died from complications from the bear spray. It's true. Oh, that did. Oh, I remember hearing in office, it was from bear spray, huh? Damn. Sandra, you say the feds locked up cell phones, but how were they recording and documenting their crimes on January 6th? Yeah, that just blows her statement out of the water. Well said, J4F. Yeah, there was tons of people recording what they were doing there on January 6th in the Capitol building. Tons of people had phones out. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where you got that from. There's a lot of misinformation involving January 6th. Well, they were letting them in, and you see QAnon Shaman being let in. So nobody, but then there's video of people clearly busting windows and breaking in. So looking in the comments, somebody said he was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. I will just say this. There is enough evidence coming out from January 6th to dispel any notion that it was peaceful. Yeah, Trump said go peacefully, but it's pretty clear. And the idea that he would follow up by saying that was a good day, we love you, go home, a good day. I don't know why he would say that. I really don't. Thank you guys for the 100,000 likes. There isn't any misinformation, just lies. A little bit. They didn't show the fact that some people were able to enter the Capitol building in front of police without being restricted. Now, the Capitol Police stood down, in my humble opinion. They stood down because they knew they were outnumbered and didn't feel authorized to start shooting people. So they stood down probably out of fear. But on video, it looks like they're letting them in. So you got to bring that up. How did the black community hold Biden accountable after his "you're not black" comment? If they ran out and voted for him, the black community lets a rich old white man tell them what to do, and they did it. All right, interesting point, Wayne Blue. I've said this before numerous times. The best thing going for Biden is he's running against Trump. You're talking about Biden getting up there, whether it's the 94 crime bill or vote for me and you ain't black. Why the hell would blacks vote for him? Because his opposition has a whole bunch of stuff in his history as well. If it was Nikki Haley or, one of Chris Christie or something like that, we might have a bigger, better discussion. But if you're going to run away from Biden because he has all kinds of racist shit in his past and vote for Trump instead, you're not escaping any of that. Trump has a lot of suspicious, racially suspicious stuff in his past too. You're not getting around any of that voting for Trump. The only difference is a lot of people on the right hold Biden accountable for the crime bill or hold Biden accountable for vote for me, you ain't black. And then when you bring up things about Trump, it's just a joke or taken out of context. But Trump has said a lot of things that are viewed as disrespectful to African Americans and things like that. I mean, a lot. So leaving Biden and going to Trump doesn't solve that problem. If that is your core issue, I don't want to vote for a leader that has racial things in his past. Then you're probably going to sit it out. Looking in the comments, though, wow, no wonder this country is so messed up and they got you people so brainwashed. I don't know what the definition of brainwashed is. Everybody got a different definition of that. Going back to the box, thank you folks for tapping the screen, certainly on YouTube as well. Appreciate the likes coming in. I'm with you. I'm with you. May God bless you. Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate that. Fabian, you are laughably uninformed. Divided we fall. Yikes. Trump supporters still think America is their country. Wow. Yikes. That's bad. Hopefully that's not true. Tina, hopefully that's not true. Trump supporters still think America is their country. Are you talking like as in take this country back? Wow. And I see in the comments, Panama says it's not. No, it's not anybody's country individually. We all have a stake in it. Real quick in the comments before the box plays out. Patriotism is not a bad thing. No, it's not. But I will tell you this. Patriotism has been hijacked. The word patriot has been hijacked. We know what a patriot means, I love adoration, respect for your country or whatever the case may be. That's not what people are using patriot for. If I tell you, let's go out to the bar, I got a bunch of friends there, they're all patriots, you'll love them. My people on the right know what I'm saying. It ain't got nothing to do with love for your country. You know what I'm saying. If I say, come hang out with us at the bar, all my friends are patriots, you'll like them. You kind of know what I'm getting at. Looking in the comments, the rich are unpatriotic. I don't know if I totally agree with that. Truth has been hijacked also. No, I don't believe truth has been hijacked. It just, I don't know what you mean by that. How is the HBO movie going with Nancy Pelosi and her daughter filmed during January 6th? Probably with snippets from people's cameras. In fact, they interviewed. That's a really good piece, by the way. It's Nancy Pelosi's daughter, so I know a lot of MAGA's not going to want to entertain it, but it's loaded with MAGA. Nancy Pelosi's daughter interviewed a lot of MAGA, some folks who have been charged, indicted, served. It's a great piece. If you can get your hands on it, it's a really good piece. She is interviewing MAGA, and they're telling what happened there that day. And I'll tell you this, it really humanizes the participants. They really believed they were fighting for democracy that day. It actually makes it's not a bash Trump movie. I would tell you it's worth a watch. It is done by Nancy Pelosi's daughter. I have seen it a couple of times. It's really good. Looking in the comments though, Big K, why is it every racist hate Trump, loves Trump? Wait a minute. Why is it every racist hate Trump, loves Trump? I think I know what you're saying, but I'll give you a chance to elaborate on that a little bit more. Den Cal, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Another one of my subscribers. Den Cal, good afternoon.
What's going on?
Not much at all. None but love and adoration for Trump. Unrivaled by any other politician in our lifetime. How is that? What does he have? Give me that mojo. What does he have that no one else has?
Man, I definitely, I can't put my finger on it. Just like everybody else in the comments, or everybody who's come on. I mean, we could try to put it on specifically just racism, but that's too simple an answer.
Wow. You think Trump is a racist?
I do believe he has racist tendencies, and he's racist adjacent.
Racist adjacent. I need you to explain that.
Well, all of the people, well, not all of the people, but a lot of the people that support him, his top advisors, those people are, some of them admitted that they don't like diversity and mixing of the races.
Who are you talking? Somebody that I've never heard of one of Trump advisors say they don't like mixing races. Who said that? His main Bannon?
Not Bannon. The bald head guy who was in charge of his Mexico policy, Jason Miller.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Just look at Jason Miller's history, all the way going back to college. I mean, he's pretty explicit, so it's no mischaracterizing it. He's in charge of a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know, as far as policy that Trump is going along with. I don't think Trump is smart enough to necessarily make policy himself, but he goes along with people who bring in certain sectors, of the country, which some of them happen to be biased or racist.
So how do you, because Enriquez Suave in the comments said, look at Joe Biden's history. Do you see Biden as potentially bigoted and racist?
Well, we do know that he has a history early on in his politics, in the early 60s, that, yes, the vast majority of the people holding office in Congress on both sides had, bigotry in their past. So, but
so you're saying
Trump
basically,
is part of that same,
you're basically
Trump
saying
is part of that same generation.
Yeah, you're basically saying there were bad people on both sides.
Yes, wow. Yes. But as time has progressed, you see the fruits of people, what they've done that define them. Not what they were back 40 years ago, but you look at what Biden has done as far as his cabinet positions, bringing on an African American to be vice president, bringing on an African American female to be Supreme Court. Those gestures, those things, those actions say what he is. If somebody was going to ask me if Joe Biden was a racist, I would say he's the worst racist ever.
Mm. Well, but if you talk about people being mislabeled a racist, you do realize Trump is saying he's done more for blacks than anybody since Abraham Lincoln.
But go back to what I just said. It's their actions. It doesn't matter what Trump says. He says a lot of things. He says a lot of things that are contradictory to the things he said 5 minutes ago.
That is true. That is, he's very contradictory.
But I have one thing I wanted to get to. Right now, I'm in the airport right now, and I'm waiting on my flight to board. But I just wanted to set up a scenario for you, so people can kind of understand kind of what happened in the exchange between Trump and Pelosi going into the rally. Okay, the rally was supposed to be held where was the
not at the Capitol building.
It was at the Ellipse, right?
Right.
Okay, so if she's in charge of security at the Capitol,
right,
and Trump comes to her and says, "Hey, you need to get like 10,000, National Guard down here," and she's like, "Well, why would I need 10,000 people at the Capitol when the actual rally is going to be 2 miles down the road at the Ellipse?"
That's another good point.
So it makes no sense that even if she could, which we know that she can't, she's in charge of the Capitol Police, not the National Guard in Washington, D.C. That's not the House Speaker's responsibility. So why, because nobody was supposed to know that he was going to even tell people to walk to the Capitol.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Even if Nancy Pelosi had provided National Guard protection where they were protesting, and then he moves the crowd 2 miles away, what, the National Guard just supposed to follow them? That is a good point. That is another point that is never brought up.
Right. It makes no sense why they would even have that conversation. If I know that you're going to have a peaceful protest down the street from where we're going to be conducting our business, we should be able to go business as usual. Unless we know that you're going to send those people down there, which nobody was supposed to know. That was a secret between Trump and his people, that they were going to send people down there.
Yeah, and Lisa in the comments also points out that one of the things that came out during the January 6th hearings is Trump's people, when they were talking about having a protest, they were told then the Capitol is closed and off limits. So he knew before January 6th that they were not supposed to send people to the Capitol, and he did it anyway.
Exactly, and they had told him prior to sending those people down there that there were armed people in those crowds that were trying to get through the magnometers, and he said, "Let them in to see me. They're not here to harm me." Yeah. So he knew prior to saying, "Y'all go down there and fight like hell," he knew people were armed. I don't even understand why there's a conversation about him having any liability. People are still saying, he had no liability.
I'll tell you why, because the White Smith's case is not, or what is Jack Smith, whatever his name is, Jack Smith's case has not come to fruition, because all of that stuff would come out. That he was told ahead of time not to go to the Capitol building. All of that stuff would be adjudicated, and some of the more logical people would realize, he screwed up that day.
Right, but that stuff doesn't need to come out. Well, I understand what you're saying. Like, people don't believe stuff unless they see it in a court of law. But now we've got to the point where they don't even believe that. So this stuff that we're talking about is public knowledge. Anybody can go find out the conversations. We can see the videotape of Nancy Pelosi and Schumer hiding out in their little bunker, trying to get people to come and do stuff, and they wouldn't on their word. So why do they keep saying that she's in control of something when she's begging folks to come help? She had to call the vice president, which is basically like her enemy, to say, "Hey, your boy ain't doing nothing. Can you help us out?"
Well, before I let you go, I got one other person on YouTube that stated, if Trump loses, January 6th is going to be like child's play. What do you think that means?
I think that guy's got a big imagination. If he believes now that Joe Biden is in office, and that all of those people that Trump hates and everybody, that those people in the FBI, CIA, all of those three-letter agencies are not listening to their phones, watching what they're doing, those people who try to do something, it's not saying it's, some lone wolves here and there might get through, and that's sad. But to think that they're gonna all of a sudden get together at one big rally and make some noise is nonsense. But I wish them luck.
All right, then, Cal. I gotta move on. You wish them luck. Wow, appreciate you coming through.
All right.
Enjoy your flight, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And I see somebody in the comments stated, a lot of body bags kind of remind me of the old, the original Rambo, First Blood. If you do that, don't forget one thing. And Colonel Troutman says, don't forget a lot of body bags. I don't know if they would shoot up the protesters at the Capitol building, but I will say this. I do believe if there was another attempt to do what happened on January 6th, it would not go very well for the protesters. It would be way worse. Like on January 6th, despite what happened, everybody was allowed to leave and go home. They arrested them later. Nobody really got arrested that day. That would not happen if it goes down again. First of all, this time, unlike last, as my last caller's pointing out, Biden has control of the FBI, not Trump. And Trump has already made all sorts of negative statements about the FBI. Up to and including he's going to get rid of them in some cases. So I don't think there's any love by whoever, by the head of the FBI for Trump at this point. So I do believe if it happened again, it would go far, far worse for the protesters or the insurrectionists or rioters, whatever you want to call them, than it would on January 6th. Because the organizations responsible for providing security probably do not have any love for Trump, up to and including the Capitol Police. Trump has been very, very unsympathetic to what the Capitol Police went through on January 6th. He said nothing positive towards them at all. He's been incredibly unsympathetic to what they went through that day. Up to and including saying it was actually a good day. And saying he loved the protesters. He didn't say he loved the Capitol Police. He said he loved the protesters. So he's been very unsympathetic to the Capitol Police. So with his wording of the Capitol Police, his negative comments about the FBI, up to and including suggesting that they were the ones responsible for the melee to begin with, he also blamed the FBI. I got to assume if it happened again, both the FBI and the Capitol Police would be really, really harsh towards the protesters because they received no love at all from Trump. But hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully whatever happens come November, the winner takes their rightful place and the loser disappears and walks off into the sunset. Both of these men are in their 80s. It is what it is. I will say this in regards to President Trump, because he is a little bit younger than Biden, 4 years younger than Biden, and also appears to be more alert and within his faculties compared to Biden, at least from what we're seeing on TV and the propaganda. There is a slight chance that if Trump loses in November, he could run in 2028. There is a slight chance of that. I mean, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I would say I feel fairly strong that if Trump loses in November, he's not going to leave politics. He'll be still deciding races, getting involved. He could potentially run again. I mean, he would be in 2028 around the age Biden is right now. So it is a possibility that if he loses and the courts don't get a hold of him, and I think there's a lot of love for Trump, that the courts, some of these judges may delay things indefinitely. I don't feel confident about anything Trump takes to the Supreme Court. So it's a possibility he may survive all this shit. And a slim chance, I'll say slim, but a slim chance he may run again in 2028 if he was to lose. It's not completely out of bounds. I mean, it's possible. And I think he'd have a hell of a lot of support. He still have millions of supporters. They're not going anywhere because Trump is not going to leave the political. He's not going to leave the political sphere. He's going to be still around. Don't be ashamed of your profession. I don't get that one, Fabian. No one is elected. It's all based on pacifying the man. It is what it is. Trump, Biden, Schumer, Pelosi, so many should be in jail, yet royal qualified immunity. You think Trump should be in jail too, huh? Everybody. Wow. All right, nevertheless, folks, unfortunately, this is an abbreviated live, and I wanted to point out a super chat. Thank you, Name Barber, for saying that Steve Munchin said some of those racially challenging statements as well. Name Barber in the comments on YouTube. Nevertheless, folks, unfortunately, I got something I got to get into. I do still have a day job. I got to cut the live a little bit short today. It is your boy, Tim. 1 p.m. tomorrow. See you then. Thank you for you YouTubers as well. I also got to step away. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.